With the regular season approaching, both Trey Hendrickson and Micah Parsons are still looking for deals despite being two of the most productive defensive players of the last few seasons. Since 2022, both star pass rushers are in the top three for both sacks and pressure percentage. Okay, Mina's back here with us. Mina, you for 2 hours. A girl could get used to this. We might need to make this happen. Usually it's 60 minutes. She's like, I got to go. I got a lot of other shows. Kimberly, is Micah or Hendrickson more likely to stay with their current team?
I would say Micah, because like I said at the top of the hour, I'm not buying what Jerry's selling. I think they get this done. I think, say what you want about Jerry Jones, he's shown that even when it's cost him far more than he needed to pay, in the end, he does open up his bank account and he ends up paying, whether it be Dak, whether it be CD. I think the Bengals, I think a lot of people in the offseason were very surprised that the Bengals went 2 for 2 and signed their 2 wide receivers. We all were saying they should. But the Trey Hendrickson piece, I'm just not as confident that a franchise that's been known to be cheap, polite way of saying it, because they spent so much money in the offseason, I'm not as confident that they'll bring out the Brinks truck for Trey.
Yeah, I see it a little bit differently. I'm going to roll with
Hendrickson?
Trey Hendrickson being the guy that's more likely to stay. If for no other reason, Adam Schefter, who came on my show earlier this week, Unsportsmanlike, shameless plug, 6 a.m. ESPN Radio, he said that it feels like the Dallas Cowboys and Micah Parsons are heading toward a divorce. Now, he said he's not sure whether it happens before the start of the season, whether it happens after the season, but the two sides have not talked. That's what makes this different than the CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott negotiations or a couple of years ago with the Trayvon Diggs negotiations. There was months of dialogue before those deals got done at the 11th hour before the start of the season. The Dallas Cowboys front office has yet to reach out to Micah Parsons' agent, David Mulligetta. And they feel aggrieved because they thought that they had agreed with Micah on a contract extension earlier in the offseason. I don't know how you think you agree without the player's agent being represented in the room.
Or pen to paper.
That's neither here nor there. But I think for those reasons, I would lean toward Trey Hendrickson being the guy that's most likely to stay. And the reality is this. The Cincinnati Bengals are trying to compete for a championship this year. You don't dole out the contracts that you did to your wide receivers and not think that the team is not capable of being able to get to the big game. And I just don't see a pathway to them being able to do that without Trey Hendrickson. So I think the ceiling for the Bengals is much higher than the ceiling for the Dallas Cowboys. And in this instance, fear should do the work of reason.
Mina?
Well, I think both players stay. I'd just start there. But if I had to pick one that seems most likely, I'll say Micah, just because moving on from him would be dumber. It doesn't mean that the Cowboys aren't going to do it. I don't pretend to understand the inner workings of Jerry Jones's mind at this point in terms of how he approaches these things. But Micah Parsons is one of the 3 best edge rushers in football. He is younger. Trey Hendrickson turns 30 this year. And it would just frankly be baffling for them to not give him a long-term deal. I still think this is headed towards an overpay. Now, I'm in agreement with Chris. The Bengals defense, as bad as it is, losing Hendrickson would only make it worse. And obviously you would not be able to get pressure without him, I believe, to the same degree. But if they were to just let things play out with him rather than give him another deal, I don't think he's holding out. So I could see it going that way with Cincinnati, where there's no deal, but he's just on the team this year.
All right, for lack of a better term, I realize we're dealing with Dumb and Dumber here with trying to get these situations done. Mina kicked it off, so blame her. Kimberly, which star, though, if we take this on the field, do you think makes a bigger difference? Is it Micah or Hendrickson?
It's like, you want me to choose between pasta and pizza? Like, yeah. I love them both. Like, I don't. Interesting.
Yeah, pizza, thin crust, especially here in New York. Carry on.
Okay, we know where you stand.
Yeah.
I don't. You're not going to make me choose.
Okay, Ganti?
I think it's Trey Hendrickson. Now, Micah Parsons is the better player, but I think Trey Hendrickson has the bigger impact just because I believe that Trey Hendrickson with his team gives Cincy an opportunity to get to the championship rounds. Conversely, I think the Dallas Cowboys are the 3rd best team in their division at best, even with Micah. Without him, they're probably in the cellar of the NFC East. So when I think about the Cincinnati Bengals and how they're trying to win football games this year, it's very reminiscent to me of the 2006 Colts. We're going to let our offense help our defense by being able to dictate to opposing offenses that they have to be one-dimensional by virtue of the scoreboard. So I see a scenario where Trey Hendrickson, in terms of the formula for success for Cincinnati, being more integral than Micah Parsons for the Dallas Cowboys.
Mina, do you co-sign?
Not quite. I think Trey Hendrickson lifts the floor of this defense, but I think Micah Parsons lifts the ceiling of the Cowboys defense, if that makes sense. Without Trey Hendrickson, this defense, I mean, they were bad with Trey Hendrickson, I guess is what I'm saying, last year. And while he helps them get after the quarterback, and I struggle to see where the sacks and pressures come from without him, candidly, he is not a plus run defender. He's not really helpful in that regard, and run defense is a massive concern of mine watching this team. Whereas in Dallas, they actually have other pass rushers. Osa Odighizuwa, who they did manage to pay, is actually one of the better three techs in the NFL. I mentioned Donovan Izaraku and Dante Fowler Jr. last year, Marshawn Leland. There are options there. But Micah Parsons, to me, is the straw that stirs the drink. He was the second most double-teamed edge in football. We know what he's capable of production-wise. If he is on the field with those other players I mentioned, and maybe if they get a little healthier in the secondary, I could see the Cowboys defense actually being above average. There's no world, frankly, in which I see the Bengals defense even hitting that threshold, candidly, even with Trey Hendrickson on the field.
So what Chris and Mina just laid out is why I cannot choose, because both of these teams, if you don't have either of these players on the field, you are not seeing the Cincinnati Bengals as a legit Super Bowl contender. You're not seeing the Cowboys going anywhere. And honestly, both of these guys have been on the field, and their team has failed to either advance as far as we think. So for organizationally, both squads have pretty much, front offices have said, we've lost without you. Like, we haven't gotten to the point where we need to be with you on the field. I think they're both so vital. I don't think...
Kimberly? I'm only letting you get away with this because you're my girl.
Pasta. I want pasta.
Because no one else. And that's what, you know what? Let's just take it there before we go to break. Pizza or pasta?
Oh, I'm going pizza.
Pizza.
Yeah,
Solid?
it's a more versatile vehicle.
Kimberly, can you
Pizza's
pasta?
more versatile than pasta. You got
Oh my
breakfast
God,
pizza,
with the
lunch
Parmesan
pizza,
and the
dessert pizza.
it's the whole
Pizza's
experience
more
of it.
Can I get a take from you on this? Are we going pizza or pasta?
First of all, there are different variations of pizza. New York pizza supreme versus places like Chicago and whatever.
Yeah.
So what kind of pizza are we talking about? That's why pasta is the greatest.
Mina, where are you?
I'll go pasta because I guess it's kind of like the Micah Parsons in this analogy. I think the ceiling with pasta is higher.
There we go. All right, we're leaving on that note. We're just carving up.
Y'all just
We're carving up.
1,000%.
Right? In New York, you get a slice anywhere. And like, who's better than you? $1.99. I mean, come on. Coming up, high expectations are facing young quarterbacks this season. Who has a bigger chance for a turnaround? Caleb Williams or Bryce Young? Last takes on the way. I do not like Chicago pizza, Kimberly. I don't like deep dish.
Exactly.
No, not at all.
True Chicago pizza is tavern style.
What's happening at Papa John's? Buy 2 large one-topping pizzas, get them both for just $9.99 each.